So, I was actually really going back and forth on making this kind of video because, I haven't really talked about streaming stuff for a long time, or really content creation stuff in general for a long time. But this camera that you're looking at, in case it wasn't obvious, this isn't my trusted Sony a6000 with my Sigma 16mm f1.4 lens. Matter of fact, all that stuff is in this box right here because I'm selling it. So if that's not what this is, what is it? Like, it's a really sharp, good looking camera, isn't it? Well, this is the Elgato Facecam Pro. It is their 4K 60 webcam that everybody seems to be jumping on the hype train about. And I know it came out a while ago, but it's been out of stock everywhere for a long time. And well, I finally got my hands on one. And this is by far the best webcam I've ever used. As a matter of fact, I think this might just be the best camera for a PC setup that I've ever used, including better than my a6000. And I'm not just talking about the video quality. Like, yeah, this might be a much smaller sensor than a crop sensor camera, but it's still a 4K image. And clearly, it looks really good. And by the way, folks, this is all out of the box settings. All I did was I went into the Elgato Camera Hub software, changed up the exposure, changed the white balance a little bit, added a little bit of contrast and up the saturation just a teeny tiny bit. But for the most part, this is out of the box settings. And I'm going to show you some stuff you can do inside of the Camera Hub software to make it look even better, or at least tweak it the way I did. All right, everybody, as you can see, this is the tried and trusted, Camera Hub software that Elgato put out. They had the same thing for their original 1080p Facecam, and it's the exact same software here for the Facecam Pro as well. But I will say, though, that apparently a few weeks or so ago, Elgato put out a firmware update for the Facecam Pro that really changed how the colors are portrayed. Apparently, before this firmware got put out, everything sort of kind of had like a greenish tint to it, but this is what I did. I just literally just plugged it in and it looks like this. So I guess this one here already ships with that new firmware. And yeah, it's kind of weird to say this, but I like the colors from this Elgato Facecam Pro more than I did my actual, expensive mirrorless camera. Like, I think that should say something, you know what I mean? So all I have here for my color settings and all that stuff here is that I have my exposure set to manual, my shutter speed is set to 1/60, and my ISO is set to only 100. There's a misconception that you really want your ISO to be set as low as you possibly can, and for the most part that is true. It is okay to add a little bit. Think of ISO like a gain knob on a microphone. It's going to amplify the stuff going into it to make it louder, or aka make it brighter, you know what I mean? So you can crank this up a little bit if you need to. Of course, I wouldn't add too much because any noise that's already in your image will just get amplified by adding more gain, or again, more ISO. But other than that, though, it does look pretty clean even at these higher ISOs with all the light I have going on in my office right now, okay? But again, I like to keep mine nice and low. I just like the look. Now for white balance, automatic, it actually nails it pretty well, but I like a little bit more of a warmer tone, and this is what I use for even my old camera, my a6000. These lights right here are 5400 Kelvin lights, so that's what I have it set to right here. Now, the awesome thing about this being a true 4K camera with a true 4K sensor is that you can zoom in here to really get this camera angled, positioned wherever you want it to. And even zoomed in this far, it's still sharper than a base 1080p image, you know what I mean? So, but the biggest reason why I actually got this, and you know what, let me just switch back over to my actual camera view here in OBS, okay? Now, the reason why I actually switched over to a webcam in comparison to a a6000, which again, folks, the Sony a6000 is an amazing mirrorless camera to use with either a Camlink 4K or an AverMedia capture card, or just a capture card in general, to get really high quality looking video for your, content like this here, for streaming on Twitch, Kick, wherever it might be. Like, it's an amazing camera, and the fact that it's an interchangeable lens camera means you can literally throw any kind of lens you want on that camera body to essentially get any kind of look you might want, whether it's a nice and sharp lens or you get a nice fast lens with a huge aperture so you can get that nice blurry background, that nice depth of field, you know. But there was one thing I was always doing with that camera that I really wanted to switch to a webcam for, and I would find myself leaving it on for days at a time because I would end a video, I would forget to turn it off, and I would leave it on for 2, 3, 4, 5 days at a time by complete accident. And don't get me wrong, it's fine, it's okay. But I mean, like, and I haven't done that for months, but I'm just saying, like, I would just forget to turn it off. And I would go to turn it on thinking it was off, and I'm like, wait, I just left that camera on for like 3 days straight. And it could take it, it's fine, you know, it doesn't get hot or anything, it's fine. But just the whole plug and play nature of a webcam like this, or even the original Facecam, the original Elgato Facecam, I think it's just simple. And with this 4K image like this here, this is actually sharper than the 1080p footage from that A6000 could ever look. As a matter of fact, I posted a video on Twitter a few days or so ago. I'll put in some, you know, footage here of it comparing my A6000 to this new Elgato Facecam Pro, okay? And keep in mind, everybody, this is not an actual full-on review. This is just me telling you guys why I wanted to switch to a webcam over having a full, you know, mirrorless setup here and everything that I've had for, God, like 4 or 5 years now, I think. I got my A6000 back in 2018, you know. Whenever I was streaming on Mixer. Yeah, y'all remember Mixer? Yeah, back then. I literally bought that because I had quite a good following on Mixer. I was actually making some money, and I thought, hey, you know what? I'm using a Logitech C924 webcam. I want to up my quality game for my viewers because I want to give them the best quality streams I possibly could. And at the time, that was the best camera for the job. And for a lot of people, it still could be. You know, it still could be. But for what I want to do now, just to have everything simple, plug and play, not have to worry about leaving this thing on whenever I'm done recording, this is awesome. Like, I love the way it looks, but what do you all think? Do me a favor, son of the comments below, and I will catch you guys and gals next time.